Hey guys, welcome back and welcome to all of you who haven't seen us before here at Wisdom in Golf. We've got an awesome drill to show you today that's going to give you 5 to 10 more miles per hour in clubhead speed. Wouldn't that be nice? And it's really easy to do, like stupid easy. I want you to get out of your couch right now, grab a club, and I'm going to show you how to do this, and you're going to love how this feels. Grab the club at the base of the shaft above the club head. So not on the club head, not partially on the club head, but at the base of the shaft and not up the shaft. Right there. See that? Right there. We're going to be listening for the swish or the whoosh of the club. So if I'm going to make this club whoosh, did you notice how it was releasing the sound well past the imaginary ball? So there's a release point during the swing that you're going to feel. So if I want to make this club whistle, you'll notice the whistle happens well past the ball. I'm not going to force the club away from me or try to hit the ball with it. I'm going to give it a nice slash that's going to make a nice whistling sound right here past the ball. So you'll notice when you do that, we're using what we call the anatomical snuff box right here. And in the backswing, you're going to feel that elbow fold and you'll feel that wrist hinge on that anatomical snuff box. If you hold everything straight and try to make it whistle, you're going to hurt your shoulder. So there's a lever that the brain needs to use in order to self-preserve that machine of yours. So we give it a slash, and you'll notice on the other side of that slash, there's a release point. Exactly the same as when you're throwing a football, there's a pronation that happens at the end of it. A release. So if I'm doing a tennis serve, same thing. There's this beautiful release on the other side so that it rehinges on that snuff box going into your finish. Now what's really cool about that is now you can whoosh back into the other direction. So notice when I did that, I whooshed it right back into that levered position, that loaded position, so I can give it another slash. So you'll notice if I put my club in my hands now, in my backswing, notice how my right arm's going to fold and my wrists are going to hinge. That's going to give me nice width with that lead arm. And then when I whoosh it through, you'll notice the other arm has to fold out of the way. So a great way for you to feel that is you'll now put your left hand on top of the right hand and give it a nice whoosh again. And notice now that lead arm wants to fold out of the way and yield so that you get to have the full measure of that release. So that release right there and that yielding process right there will add at least 5 more miles an hour to your swing instead of you guiding your shot to the target, which would be just like a check swing in baseball or a checked swing in ping pong or a checked swing in tennis versus a full release in all sports. So here's the routine. You're going to do 10 releases with your trail hand. So it's release, 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 release. There's a rep. And you do 10 of those in a row. You'll also notice that when you do it properly, that weight shift tends to happen automatically. And the hips are going to clear beautifully out of the way. So then you'll do another 10 reps with your left hand on top and really feeling that yield in both directions. So notice my right arm folds out of the way in the backswing, left arm folds out of the way in the follow through. So you're doing 10 reps there. And then once you understand how that lead hand gets out of the way, you can do it with the lead hand only. So when I gather that backswing, it feels like I got nice range of motion. and I let it release. Notice it's like I'm in a backswing with a left-handed swing now. Let it release towards the target. Let it release. So now I can do 10 reps with the lead hand. So we got 10, 10 together, and then 10 lead. Now we have that release defrosted. How do you put a ball in the way of that now? So let's say we have an intermediate point. I'm going to put my flat ball there. And I'm going to do a practice swing above my golf ball. I'm going to do a couple of releases in each direction. And I'm going to observe the blur that appears on top of the ball. Release, 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 release. So now if I lower the club to the middle of the ball, it feels like I'm going to top it if I perform that release. Well, go ahead and do that. Release. Yes, I felt the weight of the club release me. I predicted that the top of the ball was going to be in the way. And there it is, a nice top shot. So now, if I want to go a little lower, so if I do it from here, I miss. If I do it from here, I top. If I do it from here, it feels like the grass is in the way, which means I'm going to have a nice solid contact. So I'm asking myself, what's it going to feel like when I let momentum release, snap me over my ball and that intermediate point? Yeah, I remember. It felt about like that. So I go ahead and give it a nice release, and there you have it. A lovely shot that flies very true into the direction that I want to start the ball, and it's got this beautiful little draw that comes back on target. So for those of you hanging on, and that ball sliding off the face, and you're getting these, big cuts off to the right, and they're very glancy, when that release occurs, it's going to square up the club face in a hurry. If you release it too early, you'll tend to hook the ball. Watch what happens. I'm going to release it at the ball. See that? So I'm releasing at the ball, and you can see how the club face prematurely closed and gave me a hook. So the first thing that happens, the first thing I want you to, the first question I want you to ask yourself, if you hook the ball, is where did you feel that release? You want to feel it through the ball and into the direction that you want to start the ball. You don't want to feel like it's at the ball like I just did there. So I'm going to feel a nice release past that intermediate point in front of the ball. What's that going to feel like? Oh, yeah. So notice now that release straightens the ball right out. And now we're starting to get some serious power. We're closing in on 180 yards with a standard lofted 7-iron. This is my 34-degree 7-iron. So that's going to give you a nice open flow of speed in your swing. Little break. For those of you who are new to us and you've never heard this before and you love what you hear, you want to go to www.theflightlabgolf.com. This is a website that we've been working on all year. It takes you from beginning to next level, step by step. We're holding your hand. We're showing you all this that's going on right now, the drills and the experience and the feel and the sound that you should be having when you're progressing through all these things. And for those of you who have been with us for a while and you're experienced in wisdom in golf, well, stick to wisdomingolfpremium.com and continue enjoying the ride. Any questions you have, you go straight to the comments sections and we'll be glad to help you out. Let's get back to our programming. Now, if you want to know how we can turbocharge that even more, you notice how In my backswing, I tend to come up a little bit like Bryson DeChambeau. And one of the things that I've really have been focused on in my game that's added even more speed to that, I can bring that 7-iron up close to 190 yards, is when I allow my legs to fully engage in the swing. How does that work? Stay right with me. I'm going to show you how. So I had a new student show up, a fabulous athlete by the name of Gabriel. And like he's 6'6", long-limbed, extremely coordinated. And he's been playing golf for about 1.5 years, 2 years. And the first lessons that he was taught was to keep the lower body quiet, because I guess they were afraid of him, using those limbs to his advantage. And because he was freezing up the legs, his rib cage and pelvis were not able to get out of the way of the arm swing. Because you'll notice that if you don't move the chest, the arm is just going to collide and collapse into it. So in order for you to have freedom in that swing, that arm has to swing like a free wheel. Really easy drill to make. Get into your golf posture, hold your arm out, let the arm swing toward the wall that's behind you. Notice my arm is freewheeling toward the wall. See how I had to use my leg to get out of the way? So the leg used the ground to remove the body out of the way. The hips turned. My butt turned toward the target, and my arm was free and clear to go toward the wall. Notice what happened to my lead knee. The lead knee had to rotate. So if I'm snapping a punch in that direction, notice that lead knee comes right in. You ever see Bryson DeChambeau after his transformation? Back in 2017, I was able to hit every bit as far as Bryson. He was carrying the ball about 280, 285 off the tee. Now, more like 350 plus that he can easily carry with the driver. It is just off the charts phenomenal. What did he do? He copied Jack Nicklaus. And they realized that anatomically, this is what we were really made to do. So you'll notice his lead knee comes all the way back behind the ball, and he has massive range of motion in the backswing. This gives him more rotational momentum in the downswing through the ball and towards the target, turbocharges the engagement of that kinetic chain, and he also uses his legs a lot more to his advantage. You'll notice in the backswing, the first thing he does is that he raises right up. His head comes up by 2-3 inches easily. And then in the downswing, the legs squat in order to use the ground to get the body out of the way so I have access to my target. So how does that work? Well, imagine I'm a lumberjack. Got my axe here, and I need to heave the axe in order to chop down my tree. So my legs are going to use the ground to remove my body out of the way and heave the axe. Heave. Now you see what happens? I'm using the ground to do that. That left knee sucks right in, and now I'm in a position to really use the heft of that axe. There's another fun drill right there. So I take my golf measurement, I grab my axe. Now I'm just going to heave the axe into the backswing and let the weight of the axe release, snap through. So, heave, snap. And there you have it. See the jump? Right? So I went from 175, now I'm 184 carry. So we just added at least a half a club, if not more. And all I did was use the heft of my axe. So when I heave the axe assertively into the backswing, well, my body's not going to jump out of its shoes for me to fall over with the axe. It's going to give me just the right amount for me to clear and get out of the way. And then I can use the ground to go get my snap. So what happens is when I'm focused on getting a snap out here, from here, the brain has to go to the ground. See what happens now? There's this beautiful unwinding that begins to get the body out of the way so I can achieve feeling that snap into the direction that I want to start the ball. Isn't that fun? So this machine of yours has a built-in self-preservation, a system of reflex actions that's going to clear your body. All you have to do is focus on where you want to experience the snapping action. So it starts again with snap. Snap, release, yield. Look at that big load. Nice rotational momentum into the snap. So we're going to add another 5 miles an hour to that. So I get over the ball. I'm feeling the weight of my arm axe unit. Heave. Snap. All right. So we're closing in on 190 as far as carry is concerned. That was another 184 yards. And the speed is picking up. And if I were to do another, 12 reps to 20 reps, I could ramp that up easily to 190 carry on my 7-iron. Now, when you take this to the driver, look out. It would be an absolute blast. You guys get cracking with this drill. Get the slash release at least built into your system. Get that going with the 7-iron. Really start to feel and experience it through that prediction process. If you need more help, you're going to go to wisdomingolfpremium.com and you're going to go see Shawn's core videos, and you're going to love what's happening there. And then I'm going to show you how to turn this loose with the fairway woods and the driver next week. Stay tuned.